whether it's from ACE, just general discoloration, want to kind of brighten things up and create more like a blank canvas. If so, this is the Minute with Mary video for you. I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite full foundation coverage tips and tricks. Do me a favor, put hashtag Hello Lovely right there in the comments. I know it sometimes feels weird to comment on people when they are doing videos and stuff. You're like, do they really see this? Yes, I'm a real person just like you, and I will really see it, and it will mean so very much for me. It's kind of your way to wave to me, give me a little high five, a little hug over the internet. So do me that favor, as I said, put hashtag Hello Lovely. And if you're watching this on the replay, you can of course always put replay as well, and I will come on back and see your comments. So as I said, today's coverage is full face foundation. I generally like to do more of a light to medium coverage. I don't necessarily have too many issues when it comes to my skin. My skin, in the most part, is pretty good. I've worked a lot on my skincare, and I do have a lot of natural freckles and a lot of, natural coloring and stuff that I work with. But I will say this time of year, towards the end of September, I'm losing a lot of my summertime glow, which is basically nothing because I'm super pale, but I'm losing some of that, and I'm kind of left with a bit of a patchy kind of skin right now. So what I like to do is I like to either play with the freckles and add a little bit of color on my lips and just kind of work with what I got, or I create this nice blank canvas with the full coverage foundation, and that is what I'm going to be doing today. So I am taking a quick moment just to make sure that all is well on this video, and then we will be set and ready to go. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. So the first thing you need to know is you need to make sure you're taking care of your skincare. Putting makeup, particularly fuller coverage foundation, because that's a bit more than your light coverage, you need to make sure that your skin is clean, and you need to make sure that your skin is hydrated and taken care of. So I have already put on my regular skincare. It's a nice clean face with some moisturizer, and I have put on my eye cream. Okay, this eye cream, I can't stress it enough. If you have dark under eyes, crepey, textured under eye skin, it's dry, if you've got some fine lines, you do want to use a excuse me, a good eye cream that's going to help nourish and hydrate your skin. When you're doing fuller coverage foundation, you don't necessarily want to do full coverage layers of foundation underneath your eyes. Your eyes have very, very thin skin. So you're going to want to put that skincare on, and then you want to put on some primer. I like to take setting spray, spray my face. I'm going to let that dry for a hot second, and then I am going to go on and put on some primer. I'm going to tell you about what primer does. So what primer does is it helps fill in your fine lines and your pores so that your makeup doesn't go in there. When your makeup goes in there and kind of settles in there, sometimes it accentuates those problems. We're trying to not necessarily show all those pores and lines and kind of crevices in our skin. So sometimes the makeup just settles in there and makes it worse. The other thing that can happen is when that makeup goes in there, sometimes you actually end up adding a lot more makeup than you need to make up for that. So you're kind of almost wasting some of your makeup that you spent all that money on. So using a primer is going to help your skincare do its best job without mixing with your makeup. It's going to help create a barrier also to keep your oils at bay a little bit, because oil does break down your makeup. It also helps fill in those pores and those fine lines, and in the effect, it's going to help you use less foundation. So it's going to give you that skin, that coverage that you're looking for, and it's really going to make it look its best. So if you don't use a primer now, I highly recommend that you try it on out. I'm just going to be using just my regular Glorious primer right here. And this is great for all skin types. I have primers that are great for oily skin, for dry skin, for normal skin. If you're looking for more of a dewy look, if you're looking for more of a matte look, I've got all sorts of things. If you don't really know what you're looking for, you can just go for this right here, this Glorious Touch Primer, and it is just great on everybody. So let me know as you're watching this, do you already use primer? Have you added it to your makeup routine? Even for my friends who are going for that no makeup look, that light coverage kind of look, you want to add primer. As I've gotten older and my pores have gotten bigger, right around here, this is where my large pores are, primer is a key. In that area of those large pores, I almost like press it. I really want to make sure that the primer is filling those pores. I've got some smile lines up here, and I also have some fine lines up here. So I first apply it, smudging it all over my face, but then I go back and I kind of press it in. If you have really, really large pores, you could actually do a little bit extra with your primer and do almost like a second coat of it. You let your primer sit, and then you can kind of go in and just kind of spot treatment the areas that you need to right there. So that is a big primer tip. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Hey, Ruth. Good to see you. Nicole says with the prime and sip powder, it's okay to prime with that and then use BB cream or liquid foundation. I know before you said you shouldn't put cream on top of powder. Yes, because, so that's a great question Nicole has. I have this one's almost empty. I have another one somewhere. This is a prime and set powder. It's this crazy newfangled technology that can do both prime your face and set your face. This is fabulous under BB cream. So I would definitely use it for your BB cream, Nicole. For your liquid foundation, I'm going to try that out a little bit more. I used it once to prime and set with my new liquid foundation, and it wasn't my favorite, so I'm going to try it just as the primer and just as the setting product and see what I like better today. I am going to use it as just the setting for today, for you, Nicole, so I'll do that. But when I use it with my BB cream, it's great for both purposes. It's great for a lot of them. All right, so the primer needs to sit on your face for a little bit, whether or not you used the mattifying, hydrating, any of those kind of things. It needs to sit so it can fill in those pores. Your question, Nicole, when this hits your face, it is water encapsulated by the powder. It changes into more like of a creamy consistency, so you're okay to use this first. You do need to let your primer sit on your face, okay? It needs to fill in those lines, get cozy, and create that barrier. If you throw your makeup on right away, it's just going to mix the two products, and neither of them are actually going to do what they need to do. Now, when it comes to what do I do while this is sitting on my face, go brush your teeth, go brush your hair. I like to do my eyes. So I don't use a lot of primer around my eyes. I personally have found as long as I have applied my eye cream recently and then I go in with my concealer and stuff, that works well for me. So I like to do my eyes while the primer sits on my face. Yay, Nicole. Yeah, let me know how it works for you because I want to see how it works for you, my friend. And this is the thing, like everyone's skin is different. Everyone's skin reacts differently to things, and sometimes you just need to try different products on your skin to find out what the happy medium is. So I'm going to go in and do a little bit of my regular skin tone with the concealer on this upper eyelid right here. You can choose not to put concealer up there. I have a lot of discoloration, so I want to make sure that this sucker looks nice and even. Some people like to even put their foundation up here. Because I am doing a fuller coverage foundation look today, I am going to want to make sure that my eyes don't stand out with all those freckles and fine lines and everything. On the days when I have more light coverage, I can get away without putting anything on my eyelids, but as I've gotten older, it really has gotten discolored, and I like to make sure that it's a blank canvas. And then we'll just go a little bit right here. So this concealer that is part of my September foundation special, you get 4 items. You get a primer, concealer, foundation, and setting product of your choice bundled together, and you get it for a whopping 31% off. This is great because it's really just your base face. Everything else is gravy. You know, you can play around with different eyeshadows or lip colors, but if your face is splotchy or if you've got breakouts or age spots that make you feel uncomfortable, that make you feel less confident, then you know, it's hard. It's hard to kind of clean up from after that. So even if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to play with all the different eyeshadows and lipsticks, but you want to have a base face that makes you feel good, that stays on your face, that does what it needs to, you're going to want to grab this special. And it is only available for 3 more days, as it does go away in September. So if you're someone who's like me, you like to get things at a deal, you want to grab it now. So I used the skin tone shade, my regular shade, on my eyelids right there, and I'm going to brighten, conceal with that same color a little bit down here. When you're using concealer under your eyes, you can do one of 2 things. You can either use the same color as your foundation, or you can use a lighter shade, 1 to 2 shades lighter. For people who really like to brighten, you go for that brighter shade. If you're someone who you don't necessarily want to draw attention to it, you just want to kind of cover things up, you go for the same skin tone. I will be adding a little bit of a highlight there, but I wanted to share with you so you could see the difference. Okay? I just want to let you see the difference. So this is still my regular skin tone. I put it right where that discoloration is, and I've just kind of blended it out. You can also use a little blending bud sponge. I didn't put a big triangle. I didn't add it all over the place. Less is more when it comes to this concealer. It packs a punch. It's super full coverage, really makes a big difference, and it helps lighten things up. So if you're doing more lighter coverage, I would go with a concealer that is generally your skin tone to maybe one shade lighter. If you're going for full coverage, the world is your oyster. Okay, you're creating a blank canvas and you can do all sorts of things. Angel says, what concealer are you using? I need, oh, thank you, Angel. Angel, send me a little message so I can color match you. Because no matter what, I can tell you the type of concealer, but if we don't know your color and your undertones and everything, then it's not going to do what it needs to do for you. And I want to make sure that you are looking and feeling fabulous. So Angel, let me know if you can do that for me. Just message me right here and say, I'm going to message you, and send me that little message. This concealer is buildable, so it gives you lots of full coverage. If you're someone who does like more of the traditional light coverage look, but you have age spots or little pimples that you want to cover up, just touch that up with your concealer, blend it a little bit, add your light coverage foundation, and you're good to go. If you've just got a couple of things, you don't need full coverage foundation. Okay, nobody needs makeup in general, but it's if it makes you feel more confident. So you can see my skin is a little blotchy this time of year. It's losing its summertime tan. My Celtic skin is coming out, and I want to have a nice blank canvas today for my filming. So what I'm going to be doing is covering up the majority of these freckles and these little spots. But if you want that to shine through, you go more lighter coverage. You want to cover that up? Fuller coverage. All right, so I will show you what it looks like with a lighter concealer right now. So if I were to take a lighter concealer, this would be more for highlighting. I'd put it right in that inner corner, and I would put a little bit like right here. See how much lighter that is? But it really brightens up beautifully. I would not use a super light concealer all over the place. I would use it on this inner corner. It's going to help your eye look more awake, more open. You can even do this effect with a light colored eyeshadow, with a white or a silver. I have one of my favorite eyeshadows at minutewithmary.com is called Optimistic. And that would be one that I would use if you wanted to do more of an eyeshadow technique. And then right here, it will help kind of pull your face up, give it a nice lift, a little faux face lift. So that would be using the lighter shade. Can you see the difference? I never know if it comes through on video. So if you can see a difference between the regular skin tone and or the difference between a brighter shade to kind of highlight, let me know. Yay, thanks, Angel. Yeah, I'm doing complementary color matching, so I help you know your undertone, and knowing your undertone makes a massive difference, not just for your foundations and your concealers, but it actually helps you then know which blush and lipstick shades will actually look best on your skin. Have you ever had that where you like put a lipstick on and maybe your girlfriend or your mother used to wear it and then you put it on and it looks terrible on you? Like it just doesn't look right and you're like, why does this look good on the model or on my friend? And then I put it on and it's wretched. A lot of that has to do with undertones. You may have a different undertone than that person and it just doesn't agree with you as much. So I am going to be focusing a lot more on lips in October. I wanted you to all understand your base face, your skin type, the oily versus dry, the coverages this month, and then we get to play with colors with your lips next month. Awesome. So I highlighted, I brightened. Let's go in now with the foundation. I've had enough time to let this sit on my face. I'm going in with my new liquid foundation that has skincare serum built inside. Whenever you have a liquid foundation, a liquid skincare, anything, you have to shake it because you want to make sure the ingredients aren't settling, okay? Particularly with this one, because there is skincare serum built inside, give it a good old shake every time you use it. There's this beautiful cool dropper right here. Sorry, I want to make sure it's nice and clean. There's this little dropper here that as you open it, it fills the dropper. So you can see it closed, and then open. So it's going to pull up the proper amount. So just make sure that it's fully closed, it's flush against the cap, give it a good shake, and then it's going to pull up a proper amount of that recently shaken makeup. You can apply this in a couple of ways. Some people take a kabuki brush or a blending bud and apply the product right to it and apply it on their face. Some people take the makeup and drop it on their face and blend it from there. I like to either take just like a paper plate, like a non-porous thing, a mirror, even the back of my hand, and dab the tool inside of it and then go from there. I just like to do that because the one thing that I will say is if you apply it directly to the brush, it can sometimes kind of sink into the brush, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't want to waste makeup. I spent too much money and I worked too hard. I want to make sure that it goes on my face. So you can either apply it directly to the tool, to your face, or to the back of your hand or some kind of palette. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply a little bit to the back of my hand and then dab my kabuki brush, and you are going to start on the center of your face and blend out and add a little bit to the areas that you want more coverage. So this one right here, this is my liquid foundation. It has skincare serum built inside of it. And what's going to happen is you're going to look at it and it's going to tone down all of that discoloration and redness, and it is going to oxidize and kind of like blend in beautifully with my skin. And then I'm going to go back where I want extra coverage. So when we're talking full coverage, you've got a couple of different options. You can either paint your face and have way too much makeup on your face, or you can do this method. You can apply it in the center of your face and blend it out, and then go back where you need the extra coverage. This foundation is super duper light. It's not thick. It doesn't feel heavy. You don't even really feel like you have foundation on your skin. And a lot of that too, I think, is just that a little goes a long way. Like that was like a drop. Can you believe that? So now I'm going to go back in, and I know that I have a little bit louder, prouder age spots on this side of my face. So I'm just going to kind of touch up there and blend it out. And it is what it is. I do have a lot of freckles kind of right here on the upper parts of my cheeks. I will say I like some of those freckles. So what's cool about this foundation is it's medium to full coverage. It can be buildable. So you can let the areas of your face that you really want to shine through still shine through. I do get a freckle mustache in the summer. It's just my luck, right? So I like to make sure that I get more fuller coverage right there. I've got a pimple that I'm trying to get rid of right around here. And then, as I said, I've got loud, proud age spots on certain areas of my face that I want to cover up. Now, because I am doing a fuller coverage foundation tutorial, I am going to go in now with the second drop. I actually would feel fine right here. This is more medium full, so you can still see some of those freckles and stuff shining through. But because this is what this tutorial is, and there are some people out there who maybe you have a lot of rosacea, your discoloring is worse than mine, or you just like the look of having a blank canvas, let's do this. So once again, going to go to that foundation and give it a whirl. Do you like light, medium, or full coverage foundation on yourself? Let me know in the comments, because I see you. I see you watching. Let me know. All right, so I shook it up. I'm going to add another drop to the back of my hand. When I color match you, I'm color matching better towards this area of your neck. When you go light coverage, we can be pretty flexible, okay? We don't have to be like absolutely positively specific with the exact color, because light coverage kind of blends in pretty seamlessly. As you go fuller coverage, it really concentrates that color pretty thickly. So if I went for this color, but I had a really concentrated darker color on my face, this would be very dark. I would look like that lady from There's Something About Mary, the one that tans a ton. So you'd want to go for the color that is more on your neck when you're doing your fuller coverage. You may feel like Casper the Friendly Ghost. You may look at yourself and say, oh my gosh, I have no coloring on my face. Yeah, because we just made you full coverage. We just made you a nice blank canvas, and then you need to add coloring back in. So when you do full coverage, you do need to realize that you need to have either a bronzer or a contouring shade to add some depth and warmth to your skin, and you will want to have a blush. Now, I blend a little onto my ears when I'm doing fuller coverage. Light and medium coverage, I don't feel like I need to do this, but because this is full coverage, I don't want to have any line from my makeup. So I'm just going to make sure I cover those little suckers up. You like medium, Nicole? Awesome. Yeah, the great thing is that, a lot of the makeup that I wear, that I use, it really can be something that is buildable. Meaning that if I want fuller coverage on those areas that cause me cause me difficulties, my age spots or my little acne breakout that I had this month, I can go and I can build up that coverage there without having to have it everywhere. Okay, so I feel pretty good with this. What I will say is if you have textured skin, so we're talking scarring, large pores, just a lot of unevenness to your skin, one of my favorite tips right here is to take setting spray. It's like a hairspray for your face. Spray it on your face. Get a damp blending bud. Spray the blending bud and pat it into your skin. So I'll even show you. So in your areas of your concern, so I told you I have fine lines up here on my forehead, and you just lightly pat. I mean, gentle, gentle, gentle. And what this is doing is it's telling the makeup, don't you dare move. Don't you dare move. I'm going to pat you into that skin, make you really blend beautifully into the skin. Sometimes I even like to, oh, I picked a little bit of that product off. So I patted too hard. I patted too hard, Mary. What sometimes I apply this foundation with a blending bud because then it's kind of 2-in-1. So you just kind of press it into your skin. Do, 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 do. When you use a blending bud, it is a little bit of a sponge. So that's why you want to make it damp, because then it's less likely to pull some of the makeup up, but it will pull a little bit of it up no matter what. So you can put a little product on it like you just saw me do. That's why sometimes the kabuki brush will help you get more of that fuller coverage, and then you can just kind of touch and go. Amy says, depends on the coverage. I usually like light to medium. That's how I feel too. So you can see right now, this part of my face is much lighter than my lower chest, right? You can see it. This isn't wrong. When you're doing fuller coverage foundation, you want it to more blend into your neck, and then we add the color. And the cool thing about this is I now get to put the color where I want. I before had blotchy redness, I've got my age spots, my freckles everywhere. Now it's a beautiful canvas that I get to go in and do what I want and add the color and dimension. So I always like to preface that, because some people say, oh, I put it on its light. And I said, well, does it blend into your neck right here? Because if so, we did the right thing. We did the right thing. So let's first go in and contour. Contouring is important if you wanted to slim your face, if you feel that there are certain aspects of your face when it's this blank one-dimensional canvas that it just looks too big. I've got a larger forehead. I like to add a little dimension to my cheeks. I want to help get rid of this little second chin that I've got going on. I want to slim down my nose. You can do all of that with contouring. You want to pick a shade that is darker than your skin tone. I'm using my darkest cool shade. It's called Georgette. This is not for contouring novices, but I figured this is a full face foundation. I'm going to go all in. Right here I start off. You can kind of feel where your cheekbone is going under. So I just do a little bit right here, and I almost start to bring it more straight. Rather than going all the way down, I'm kind of swooping ever so slightly right there. So cheekbone and a little swoop. And that's going to help give a little lift and roundness to my cheeks. Then I go near my hairline. Do, do, do. If I was using a lighter shade, if I was more of like a novice and this was my first time, I'd be using a shade called Cashmere or Chenille that I have on my sites. Those are just a little lighter, so if you're worried that, oh, this is going to be too dark, choose a little lighter of a shade, generally cooler toned. The thing with this is we're trying to create a faux shadow. We're trying to slim things down. So here's my nose. You can even see my nose shadow goes more like this right here, okay? There's a couple of tips that you can do, but you don't want to accentuate your current shadow. If you're contouring, it's because you're trying to draw a fake new shadow. So see that line and bring it in a little bit further. When you're using a darker shade, use less of it. Okay, when you're using a lighter shade, you'll have a little bit more flexibility, but you can see that this is a really, really dark shade, so I used very little product. I'm going to blend it a lot. All right, so I want my new nose line to go here. Look at that. So you can see it's not where that natural shadow is. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now, if I was using a much lighter shade or more of like a bronzer, I probably would have drawn a little bit more. You can also make your nose look a little shorter by drawing a line, oh, well, I guess I just did, towards the end of your nose in that faux shadow area. You could also make your lip look a little fuller by casting a faux shadow underneath there. And let's get rid of this double chin. And then you go a little underneath your jawline right there. Do I look crazy? Do you contour? Let me know in the comments. Do you contour, or do you feel completely intimidated by it? I used to be super intimidated by it. So I'm going to take this mirror right here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take some kind of a thinner brush. If you just have like one regular brush, squeeze that sucker down. You do not want this to go everywhere. This isn't a bronzer. This is contouring. We're trying to chisel things out right now. So always kind of bring it up and lift it into that hairline. This is going to add a beautiful like more structure to your cheekbones, that cooler undertone that I was talking about. There is a difference. Remember, we were talking about when I color match you, we're going to figure out if you're a cooler undertone, a warmer undertone, or a neutral undertone. When you are contouring, it's really nice to work with cooler undertones, as that's more of like the shadowy gray blue kind of coloring that we're going for, which is a more natural thing. This is still going to look bananas, okay? This, I'm just starting to blend the contouring. Nicole said, I'm intimidated by it, but I want to learn. Awesome, Nicole. I love that. I was super intimidated too, okay? It's something that when you first start off, I say take like a bronzer at first and go along in that shape with your bronzer, and then just get used to the shape. When you are doing your forehead, if you can fit 4 or 5 fingers between your eyebrow and where your hair begins, you're perfect for contouring your forehead. If you can only fit 3 or 2 fingers on your forehead, you probably don't want to contour it. You've got actually a smaller forehead, so you don't need to contour. No one needs to contour. But if you already have like a really thin nose and you feel like, oh, do I need to contour it? No, it's going to slim it down even more. But if you want to slim your cheekbones down or make them kind of stand out a little bit more, you can definitely contour your cheekbones. You can pick and choose the different aspects of your face that you would like to do this to. But I like to do it when I do this fuller coverage foundation, because when you do that fuller coverage foundation, you're losing a lot of that dimension and you need to add it back, and you can add it back. So if you are someone who's not necessarily confident with your face shape and you'd like to alter it a little bit, you can do it with makeup. But I will say it's easier to do when you have fuller coverage foundation, because you're essentially painting your face. You're Bob Ross on your face, which is pretty neat. Takes a little bit more time, but if it's the look that you're going for, then it's worth it. All right, let's go check this out. Whenever I forget, if I ever forget to blend something, say I'm getting my makeup on and the kids are home and I'm trying to run out the door and do something quick as a family, if I ever forget to blend something, it's this. It's my below my chin contour, and poor Blake will be like, oh, Mary, you forgot your contour again underneath your chin. Because when I'm looking at myself straight on, I kind of forget it. So by doing this, I'm casting like a faux shadow to help kind of slim down that chin bone, that right down here, that second chin. You do not want your contour right here in this upper beard area. Nope, we want to keep that nice and light and free so that this way this line really, really sticks out. And then what I do is I kind of just go around the edges. This one needs definitely some more blending. And I bring it up. I do not bring that contour line down. I either bring it back or I blend it upwards. We're trying to slim that down and lift that face. Isn't this crazy? So a little bit with a darker shade and blend a lot. If you're nervous about it, get a lighter contour shade and you're going to have more flexibility. But you can already see that huge difference. I literally had dark brown lines on my face and now it's just light brown. So I'm going to go in with that kabuki brush that I used with my foundation or your blending bud, and now I'm just going to softly go about where the two lines are. Now I contoured with a stick foundation. In my special this month, you can get your concealer, your primer, your foundation of choice, and your setting product. And then if you wanted to upgrade, you could get a brush and an additional foundation that's either a stick or a powder foundation. And you'll still get a massive, massive discount. So when you're using a powder foundation, I do suggest you contour with powder. You never want to put a cream or liquid on top of a powder foundation. So use the same kind of product. But because my liquid foundation is liquidy, I can use a cream stick to contour with. There we go. So already, aside from, does anyone else do this? Does your hair just want to like get all in the picture when you're doing your makeup? If I'm going out, I'll frequently do my hair ahead of time. But today I decided to do my hair after because I thought, oh, I can hold it back and it won't get in the way. It's still getting in the way. It's still finding its way, its little rascal. All right, so now I need to go in and do some blush. Blush, you can play with in different ways, but once again, I created a blank canvas with my face, so I got rid of my natural flush. I need to add that back in, and I am going to do that. A little bit of blush, And you can play with the placement. There's all sorts of ways. So once you know your undertones, once I color match you, we'll know which blushes are best for you. I'm wearing today the shade Stunning. It's this really nice pink. It looks really to be a lot, but once it's on, it's not that strong on my face. Do you wear blush and bronzer? Do you just wear blush? Let me know. Let me know. Hang on out with me. Keep me company. Let me know your thoughts on blush. I'm a huge fan of blush. I know not everybody is. I know some people, they're like, just give me a little bit of bronzer and I'm good to go. I'm a blush girl. So I kind of swipe and press. If I was just wearing powder, I might just be swiping, but because I am kind of on this creamy liquidy type powder, right? Creamy liquidy type foundation, I'm kind of swirling. I'm once again following. I'm going above that contour line right there, so still more on the high point of my cheekbone. And then I kind of also press it in. I've even used a damp sponge to apply blush before too. It all comes down to you just trying different techniques, seeing what works best for your skin. Everyone's skin's composition, the oily, the dry, the texture, we're all different. So what works for me may not work perfectly for you, but I may have already had a customer who may have some of your same concerns and skin types and textures and stuff. So I've known several people who they just go on my site and they buy exactly what I'm wearing and it may not be the right one for them, you know? Got to make sure that we've got your undertone right. So now I look like a clown. Blend. I love blush, so I add more blush and then I blend it nicely, okay? I also like to add a little bit of blush right here on the tip of my nose. It kind of gives me this sun-kissed look. Nicole says, just blush lately. I'm going to start using bronzer again. Awesome. I use a fluffy, clean brush and I swipe it upwards, up, up, up. Not sideways, because I'm trying to add that lift to my face, really to accentuate those cheekbones, to kind of slim down my face a little bit. And doing this little bit of blending makes a massive, massive difference. Do, do, do. There we go. And I also do a little extra blush on days when I know I'm going to be on camera. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So I still look a little Casper-y, right? A little Casper the Friendly Ghost. But you can see that contouring now helps mimic this color. By adding this blush, I'm now mimicking some of the flush that you see on my chest. So when you're doing full coverage foundation, you want to add in the bronzing, the contouring, the blush to help blend it all together. But now it's where you want it. Now I don't have, like, I was having like a big old rosy patch on my chin and I just had splotchiness. Now it's exactly where I want it to be versus having a mind of its own. If you are like me and you get foundation in your brows, give it a good old cleaning. You can use a spoolie that used to be like, from a cleaned mascara wand. Don't just throw those mascara wands away. They're going to be really great tools for you in the future. Or you can get a brow comb like this one. And I just kind of comb that product out. And then at this point, when my base face is complete, I like to set it. I like to set it with a little bit of setting powder. So there's a couple of different setting powders. Nicole, I remember you wanted me to try this. So this is my my prime and set powder. So you can either get a translucent powder or you can get this prime and set powder. You give it a swirl. It has this awesome technology of water encapsulated by the prime and set powder. So it needs that air. I put a little bit of it inside the cap. And then I dip my setting powder brush inside of it, tap a little off, and then place it. This is a different kind of powder in the sense that you can feel the instant cooling effect on your face, and you kind of have to work in small areas at a time. But it will mattify your makeup. It'll help blend out the pores. It really locks it in place so that way it's not making a mess if you have a mask or if you just have a busy day. This is my favorite one if you have large pores. If you were using just my regular translucent setting powder, you can kind of swipe it a little bit bigger because it's not having that cooling water molecule effect. But you can already see, you see how this one has like a little, my forehead has a little bit of that sheen to it, that shine. This now is matte. Add a little bit more. I'm working in small segments. powder is great for those of you who have oily skin, for those of you who just really don't want to have any of that shine come through. I do recommend more of a translucent powder or setting powder like this if you have large pores. It'll really help blend it and blur it out. Pores, if they've got shine to them, it can kind of show that texture. It's not to say you have to like have a super matte face, but just know that on your pore area, you may want to have that covered up. All right, so here we go. We've got this gorgeous canvas that now has some color to it. I'm going to add a little bit of eye makeup, but this isn't necessarily part of the full coverage foundation. But I feel like when I do the full coverage foundation, I kind of want to amp things up a little bit, add a little extra, add a little something more. So I'm going to use two of my liquid eyeshadows today. I'm going to use this beautiful kind of white shade Glassy. If you're looking for the inner corner highlight that I was talking about with the concealer, you can also accomplish this with this eyeshadow shade. Having some beautiful light right in the inner corner really makes your eyes pop. I just use my finger. You can use a blending brush. These liquid eyeshadows are so easy to use. Just a little pat and tap. As you blend it, it loses some of that shimmer aspect to it if it is one of my shimmer shades. As it's more concentrated, it will keep that shimmer. So I'm going to add a little bit more concentration right there on that lower lid. I need to do some filming today for my Wicked Roadie TV segment, so I think I'm going to try to do it at an apple orchard, as it's apple season. Apple season here in Rhode Island. I just thought it would be so cute if I could be in a little orchard. I didn't want to film this weekend as I knew that the orchards would be packed. Everybody is doing it on their bucket list right now. I feel a little bad because I should probably be doing this with my family, but who's to say I can't go back to an apple orchard, right? So we'll debate if I actually pick apples. I might just go and film and then go back to the orchard with my family on a little bit more than this lower lid. So I'll go in and get all the beautiful trees, might buy a little peck of apples, and then be good to go. Nicole said, that sounds fun. Have fun filming. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm excited about it. And then I'm going to go in with this matte shade Overt. It's a nice like nutty brown shade, and this will be my outer corner area. So I'm going to create a 7 or a V, like that. Take a blending brush. Is this one clean? I don't trust it. So I am going to take a little bit of brush cleaner. I need to act quickly since I already applied it on my eyelid. The cool thing with these liquid eyeshadows is they dry quickly, so if you do have creasy eyes, if you've got hooded eyes, you won't have to worry about it. But on the flip side, you need to act quickly and not dilly-dally. Just do one eye at a time. When I'm working with more of these darker shades, I personally prefer to use a brush. I just feel like I have a little bit more control, but you can still use your fingers with these darker shades. And blending it out really creates this gorgeous, gorgeous effect. And they dry very quickly, so you don't have to worry about them getting all goopy in the crease of your eye. And this is more of the placement for the crease. So I'm probably still going to add a little bit more white right on top of there. That kind of tones it down a little bit, still has that brightness. So once again, my outer V, or like I like to say a 7, just like that. But that's when people refer to the outer V, that's what they're talking about. And then I blend it inwards, in and up. Not any further than that. When you do circular motions with your brush, it keeps it really concentrated and nice and dark. Windshield wiper like this, that kind of rainbow shape, will really diffuse it and make it look lighter. So I like to keep it nice and dark in that outer corner where I originally placed it. And then I go above my crease line, and then I just do that little windshield wiper back and forth. Really, really easy. And you can do this, you can do your eyes in the beginning. I frequently, if I'm using powder shades, if I'm doing a really difficult look, I will do my eyes first. I generally do my eyes first while my primer is sitting on my face. And then I'm just going to take that same shade and go underneath my lash line. This technique is something I didn't really used to do, and I love it now. I feel like back in the 90s, early 2000s, everybody was just taking pencil eyeliner and going in our lash line and our waterline. The problem with that, though, is it can make your eyes look smaller. But if you're still trying to really accentuate your eyes and add a little drama, take your darker eyeshadow and do this instead. Ooh, as I'm like not looking what I'm doing. Silly Mary. I'm just talking and taking a brush to my eyeball. Goodness me. This is also a great tip if you do have kind of crepiness under your eyes, a little bit of the fine lines and stuff. You can actually go to that lower, you have an upper lid and a lower lid. You can see that little crease line that we all have. It's where the eyeball starts to kind of cave in. That's where I like to smoke it to. That's where I like to bring the product to. It's just really, really nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit more saturated right here. So I'm not going to blend it as much. The same shade, just right around there. And because I want it saturated, I'm going to use those circular motions. The trick to eyeshadow looks is to blend so that there is no harsh line. You can't really tell where a color begins or where it ends. And you don't need to get fancy. You don't need to have, a whole huge giant eyeshadow palette. You can if you're someone who likes to have a little bit of diversity and things to play with. But honestly, you can do so much with just a couple of shades and the right tool, trying out different techniques. So see how that just deepened it up a little bit? Adding some darkness out to your outer eye helps your eye look a little bit bigger, makes it stand out. And when I do fuller coverage foundation, I don't know, I like to glam it up a little bit more. So playing around like that. Have you gone apple picking yet? Let me know in the comments. Because we have not. We've been eating a ton of apples. I've just been buying them at the market. Somebody else picked them for me, but I have not picked them myself. And as I said, I will be going about today to an apple orchard, but I don't think I'm going to pick today. All right, so we've got that beautiful eyeliner going on. I am going to fill in my brows a wee little bit, but I think I left my brow pencil downstairs, so I'm not going to be able to do that for you. Let's do a little bit of eyeliner, though, while we're here. Where are you, pencil? There it is. So once again, full coverage foundation. You can choose to make your eyes glam or make your lips glam. I find when I do fuller coverage foundation, I'm definitely doing some contouring, possibly some bronzing. I did not add bronzer today, and I do add blush. You want to add elements back into your face to add that dimension to it. I sometimes like to do a little bit more glam when I'm doing my eyes or lips. When I have fuller coverage foundation, it just kind of really completes the look, but you do not have to. People who choose to do fuller coverage foundation, it is because they like to work with that blank canvas. It's because there's things on their skin that they may not be very, very confident about frequently. It might be that they have age spots or acne or just blotchiness, or they just want to have that blank canvas with which they can play with. So it is all up to you. All up to you. Right, I do have that other eyeliner that I need downstairs, so I am going to end this Minute with Mary early. I will share a before and after picture, though, in the comments, so that way you can see what the final look looks like. Thanks for keeping me company today. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned some tips and tricks. If you do want me to color match you, I want you to message me. I want you to message me before the end of September, because I want you to be able to grab this special and save yourself some money if it is something that you are interested in looking at and in trying. Everything at minutewithmary.com does come with a 14-day love it guarantee. So if you don't love it, you get 2 weeks to try it on out. If it just doesn't work with you, if it's not the right color, if you want to try something different, I get you all of your money back. So that way you can try things that you really want to, we want you to succeed. We want you to feel fabulous. So thank you so much for tuning in, for keeping me company, for putting #HelloLovely down below, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.